This week on Dance of Joy, we talk about a shared early 90s sitcom universe, grocery store music playlists, and magnetic mannequins. All that and more as we watch Season 8, Episode 2 of our favorite 80s hit sitcom, Perfect Strangers. Hello and welcome to Dance of Joy, a Perfect Strangers rewatch podcast. My name is Imran. I'm one of your cousins taking you through this journey. Joining me on this journey, of course, is my sister, Sophia. How's it going?
So I'm one of your cousins too.
We're all cousins.
We're all cousins, but
We're
you
all
and
cousins,
me are brothers.
siblings. So yeah,
Hi.
that's weird.
You know what? We've been doing this how many years now? Many episodes. Over 100 episodes.
Four years. Yeah, 150.
And after all this time, sometimes I just walk around with the song stuck in my head.
Yeah, we haven't
just walking on the street.
Yeah, we haven't talked about the theme song in a long time, right?
I mean, we in the past we've talked about some covers and stuff, and so just walking down the street, sometimes if it's a nice sunny day, I'm like, sometimes the world looks perfect. But the other day, I thought I heard the song in my head, but it wasn't in my head. It was on the latest episode of Only Murders in the Building.
Get out of the city!
Yes, a
How
rare,
bizarre.
random 2024 reference to the Perfect Strangers theme song.
Like a lot of reference.
This not just a reference.
Yeah, they
it's
talked
part
about
of
it. Every
the
character
plot.
was like, knew what it was. They're like, is that the Perfect Stranger? It was
Oh
coming
my God.
through on a ham radio.
Not to spoil too much, it's season 4 of Only Murders in the Building. A great show if you're not watching. But there's a ham radio. You hear it come through on the ham radio. It's part of like the storyline. But then there's this whole montage set to the theme song with Martin Short and Zach Galifianakis.
Yes.
And then it comes
Getting
back.
to know each other.
And then it's mentioned again at the end. And it may be a huge part of the storyline.
And there is, speaking of parts of the storyline, part of the storyline in that episode of Only Murders was about a spit take.
You think they play
And they
that
were literally
on purpose?
calling it a spit take
Yeah.
and being like, I'm not going to do a spit take. I'm going to do. And then Eugene Levy does a spit take.
Yeah.
And to me, I was like, is that like the
Perfect Strangers?
most specific, like,
Marklin Baker does
insider
spit takes?
Easter egg about Perfect Strangers?
Is
Marklin Baker going to show
Oh my
up
God.
as a
Is
cameo?
this a foreshadowing?
Or even Bronson?
Yeah, so the shows come out every week, so I can't wait to see where
So
it was so
exciting.
random. I was laughing. I was like,
you know,
oh my God, what is happening? Why is the Perfect Strangers theme song
I
on
hadn't
Only Murders in the
even
Building?
seen it yet, but my friends were messaging me because they
amazing.
know we do Perfect Strangers.
Yeah.
I got messages being like, what? And then I had to go and catch up and watch it. It was
It's wonderful,
wild.
and it's completely comes
and
out of
so
nowhere.
happy.
Yes.
It's like, that's like being in like, are you ever in like a random little market in Chicago, like not a big name grocery store, but like a produce market, and then they're playing like really specific old school radio stations, and something comes on at like, 10 in the morning, but it just makes your day, makes you smile. Imagine being in a little vegetable market and the Perfect Strangers theme song comes on.
should
I
play
would
that.
be like, day made.
They should play that in grocery stores.
They
Absolutely.
should. Yeah, they should. They should only. Some grocery stores should have like, Thursday morning theme song playlist and just do all the old theme songs of shows.
You ever
would
seen
go
that
shopping.
meme where you're like in high school prom and they're playing this music and you're like, that's my jam. And then it's like in your 20s, you go to the
yeah,
club
yeah.
and you're like, that's my jam.
And in your
then
40s,
in your 30s
it's the
and 40s,
grocery
you're at the grocery store. You're like, that's my
this
jam.
is my jam.
And it's
Yeah.
true. They'll play
It's
like
so true.
old school
I
Janet Jackson songs and I'll start
Dude,
dancing in the aisle.
Fresh Farms on Devon plays the best
Yes.
old school music. I'm always singing, and then they always play Christmas songs like real early in the season. It's just the best.
I was just at Target and I was singing along to the Beatles. That's all I know.
Fresh Farms plays like one time I went and they were playing Ella Fitzgerald and Louis Armstrong dancing cheek to cheek, and I was just shopping with all the like immigrants and brown people and
that's
like
like
singing this song.
That's like an independent
nobody
store.
else was singing it.
Somebody
Yeah.
has good music taste.
Oh my God, Fresh Farms.
Anyways, check out Only Murders in the Building. This is not an Only Murders in the Building podcast.
No.
This is a Perfect Strangers podcast.
No, but Only Murders in the Building is about a podcast.
But yes, and now they're going to make the podcast into
A
a movie.
fictional
It's a show
podcast.
about a podcast turning into a movie. We should do a podcast about a show that's a podcast that's turning into.
What if they turn our podcast into a movie, but
This
ours
is
is about a show?
A movie about a podcast that's about a show that's about a podcast. Anyways,
the movie would be about us.
I've inceptioned to myself. I'm confused.
Who would play us? Because in Only Murders, they meet their
Kumail Nanjiani and Mindy Kaling.
Oh my gosh!
Season 8, episode 2 of After Hours.
That would be awesome.
We could also go Dev Patel and that.
No, we need someone like paler for you.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. We need a white guy.
Yeah.
Zach Galifianakis
No,
actually.
someone like.
And Eva Longoria could play you.
Oh yeah, those are from. Very flattering.
Anyways, what are we talking about?
All right, we are talking about Focus, Javeds. We are talking about season 8, episode 2 of Perfect Strangers. Again, we're winding down. We're gritting our teeth through these.
That's why we had that long tangent in the beginning because we're just like,
because it brought us joy.
Yes.
This episode is called After Hours.
After Hours. You know what? There's a movie. This movie's crazy. In 1985.
Yes.
There's a movie called After Hours. All right. It's directed by Martin Scorsese.
Okay.
It stars Rosanna Arquette. Cheech and Chong are both in the movie. Tommy Chong, Cheech Marin, Terry Garr, John Hurd. Remember the dad from Home Alone?
Oh, yeah.
And you know who else is in this movie? Bronson Pinchot.
Balky Bartok.
Yeah. It's a small role. It's kind of weird. Also, Wikipedia reminded me.
That was before. So this.
Yeah, this was 1985. And then Wikipedia said not to be confused with After Hours, the album by The Weeknd.
Can you just do a quick search on The Weeknd and see how old he is?
Listen,
was he alive in 1992?
Back in 1992, The Weeknd was a Tuesday.
The Weeknd was a baby Tuesday evening.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's find out what this episode is about. If you were to have picked up the TV guide back in 1993, you would have read this. Larry and Balky are locked in a sporting goods store with a vicious attack dog.
Oh, okay. Sure. Why not?
Okay.
Simple, straightforward. The starring, of course, Bronson Pinchot as Balky Bartokomous, Mark Lynn-Baker as Larry, Melanie Wilson as Jennifer Appleton now.
Jennifer Appleton.
And Rebecca Arthur still is Marianne Bartokomous. Yes, that's right. I don't know, it doesn't roll off the tongue.
What was it before? Marianne Winters?
We didn't know her last name for a long time. Anyways.
Jennifer's was Jennifer Lyons.
Lyons, right. Now she should have hyphenated.
Something, yeah.
Just to keep a little Jennifer Lyons Appleton. And one guest cast we'll get to.
Sure. This episode aired on July 16th, 1993.
Now, currently in 2024,
yes,
Perfect Strangers is streaming on Amazon Prime for a small price.
For a small fee.
Right. So throughout this podcast over the last 4 years, it's been in different places.
Yeah, we started when it was on Hulu.
I mean, it wasn't free, but it was on Hulu. It was nice. Then it was free on Amazon Freevee. It was on Amazon.
Wait, it was free on Hulu. Well, you had to have a Hulu account, but
can you have a free Hulu account?
I think so with ads. Oh,
even with that,
right.
Hulu makes you pay for ads,
but it was on Hulu. Yeah,
it's on Hulu. Then it's on Amazon Prime. Their
Freevee.
Then Freevee. Then it was taken off there, and now, thanks to our cousin listeners, had several people contact us saying that you can now find Perfect Strangers on this thing called Plex.
Plex.tv.
So, yes, someone wrote in, just as M listener, wrote into our email, dancejoypod@gmail. M says, hello, cousins. After a long wait, I just found PS on a streaming app called Plex. I am enjoying the cast headshots they are using for each season on the app. And then cousin Whitney Smith also says, I have great news. I know we are wrapping up the podcast, but I found where you can stream Perfect Strangers for free. Again, that's important. Plex has all 8 seasons of Perfect Strangers, and that's no Baba Steaky. Now we are so happy we do the Dance of Joy.
Maybe we need to re-air after we're done, re-air from the beginning.
We'll have to cut a thing in. What is Plex? Real quick, I went to check this out, and I've heard of this. A coworker at work has a large collection of digital media, TV shows, movies.
Okay.
And Plex, I thought originally was like a media server that you connect to your computer at home.
Download it.
That you can organize these files, and it pulls up the photo and the little thumbnail.
Okay.
And you can watch it from anywhere. But as you're using your computer as a server, apparently, though, Plex it's a free streaming service. It has movies, television shows, live TV channels. It's got music. So I signed in with my Gmail account, and yes, you can watch Perfect Strangers.
Does it have I Love Lucy?
It probably does.
For that the other day. Also,
I did not know about Plex, so you can find it at plex.tv.
Plex.tv
is the URL.
Also, you may also find most, if not all, episodes on Daily Motion.
Daily Motion is another weird site
yeah.
that's been around for a long time.
Yeah.
And there's just random videos.
Just random.
Random movies and whole episodes of TV shows. I'm so confused what Daily Motion is.
I believe all of the season 8 episodes are on there. They're not in any particular order or organized well, but you have to.
That's like
all
a free
there.
for all. Yeah. That's like going to Ross and trying to find something,
exactly.
sorting through the racks is what Daily Motion is. They got 6 seasons of I Love Lucy on Plex TV.
Oh,
Plex.tv. Check it out.
That.
I think you can download it on your smart TV apps also and use it. So that was exciting to find out.
What a secret gem. Go Plex.tv.
Plex, yeah. I was like, whoa, Plex. Tubi is also great. There's a lot of stuff on Tubi. But thank you, Cousins.
Thank you, Cousins, for
finding
letting
a free
us know.
place.
Didn't we say it's going to show up somewhere eventually?
Yeah.
We just had
and over the course of the
time.
show, it's been in like 4 different places. It's crazy.
It will live on forever.
It will always live on, and so will this podcast, as long as I keep paying for the hosting.
All right. Speaking of this podcast, let's get into this episode entitled After Hours. We begin. Now, the beginning of this episode, we talked about this, is very slow. It takes a while.
Remember when they used to do the thing where Balky would run in and
with
be like,
the plot of the
Cousin,
show?
we got to do this because of this and this, and they're off and running? Yeah, that's out the window
anymore.
This season.
I feel like those writers thought the show ended and they got other jobs, and for these last episodes, they just grabbed some interns, whatever. Not that interns don't do good work, but you know what I mean. So we start at the house, and our two couples are there sitting at the kitchen table.
Yeah, we're in the kitchen. It's dinner time.
And you know how from the audience, the table is horizontal in front of us. So Jennifer and Larry are at either end to our left and right. And in the middle, sitting together opposite us, are Balky and Marianne, but they're making out hardcore.
Yes, they're hardcore canoodling. Just at the dinner table. Which, is awkward for the other people sitting there. And Larry's good vegetables, Jen. He doesn't know what to say.
Yeah, he's talking past the makeout session. Jennifer's
they're so crisp.
And Jennifer's like, well, I keep them in the crisper. They're having the most boring conversation.
Also,
while
it's awkward because
the two in the middle are getting hot and heavy. Yeah.
And then Larry's had enough and wants to break this up. And he's like, Balky, can you pass the salt? By the way, the salt and pepper is sitting right in front of him.
Yeah, that's funny.
Which is kind of funny. And he's like, Balky, nothing. Balky. And then conveniently, there's a wooden spoon on the table. And Larry just smacks Balky on the back of the head with the wooden spoon. And that breaks him up. That does it. They slowly separate.
And Balky hands him the salt.
Larry's like, would you pass the salt? And he gives it to him. He goes, thank you.
And Balky goes, oh, sorry, cousin. We were playing lip tag and I was it. All this, okay. Balky and Marianne giggle a little. And then we hear from Balky what kind of couple they've turned into. He goes, tonight is the 4th anniversary of the first time we ever said the exact same thing at the exact same time.
I mean, it's cute.
They're building this
could be a running thing. Yeah, that they celebrate these very specific, ridiculous anniversaries, which of course they would.
Yeah, I wish they would have done more with that, but it's just kind of like a runner.
They're just going to come up with different random anniversaries. And then suddenly Marianne just goes, cuddle break, and they both throw their chairs back, and Marianne runs out the room. Balky chases after her.
Yes.
She barely looks pregnant, by the way, Marianne.
Yeah,
we'll talk about Jennifer in a second.
That pregnant. I mean, they're all dressed in really baggy clothes this episode, the two girls.
Yeah.
As opposed to last time. Anyway, so they run out of the room up the stairs, presumably, and then we're left with Jennifer and Larry Ann, and they start clearing the table after dinner. And Larry's kind of annoyed.
First he's annoyed.
He's like, what is it with those two? Every 15 minutes, there's a cuddle break. Have you ever seen anything so nauseating? And then Jennifer's like, oh, I think they're adorable.
And then Larry's like, you do?
She goes, I think it's sweet the way they're so affectionate with each other.
And then another high-pitched, you do?
And then Jennifer goes, I feel like going to bed.
Oh, and then Larry goes,
You
do. Very. Then it gets low. Very.
Yeah.
You do. And so, yeah, but she also, the way she says that,
Yeah.
you know,
It's like an awkward
is
phrase.
leading him to
I
think
feel
something.
Like going to bed.
I feel like going to bed.
that
He's like,
innuendo?
you do. Yes. So
Or-
she leaves. Larry just throws the plates instead of cleaning them into the sink. And they go out, and in the living room at the staircase, you see Balky and Marianne on the first landing.
They didn't even make it upstairs.
They even make it upstairs.
They're canoodling again
still making
on the
out right
stairs.
there. And Jennifer's about to go up the stairs, and Larry's like, "Good night, Balky. Good night, Marianne." And he tells Jennifer, because Jennifer, I'll just lock the door. Be right up, sweetheart. She goes, "Why?"
He said, because you wanted to go to bed.
Oh, she goes, "Oh, right. Try not to disturb me when you come upstairs, okay?" She gives her a kiss and then walks up the stairs, only to turn back and look at them and be like, "They're so cute." And Larry's like, "What?" And then Marianne just goes racing up the stairs, and she takes off. But at this point, Larry has grabbed the back of Balky's pants. So as Balky tries to run,
oh yeah,
he is stuck.
Balky tries to follow Marianne upstairs, but Larry pulls him
Larry
back.
is holding him, and he can't. And he just pulls him like a puppet,
physical
like a
comedy.
rag doll, spins him around, and plops him on the sofa. He needs to have a conversation.
Yes. What does he want to talk about? He wants to know his secrets. He wants to know how to get his wife hot for him again. So anyway, he pulls him onto the sofa and he says to Balky, normally I wouldn't come to you with a problem like this, but you seem to be doing something right. So tell me, how do you keep the old home fires burning?
And Balky's like, what? And he's like, oh, gotcha. He goes, well, cousin, the most important thing is to use very, very dry wood. He's talking about a real
fire, a home fire.
We have reverted to literal.
Yeah, because
Balky. He's like, the real key is the kindling, but of course, the lighter fluid. And Larry's like, no. He's like, I'm talking about the fires between a man and a woman. And then Balky goes,
them fires.
Them fires.
And he says, if our flame ever flickered, I think what I would do, I would go into my pleasure chest and select one of the 3 tried and true Bartolomew's marriage secrets.
Hold on. Balky has a pleasure chest.
That sounds
icky. Pleasure chest? How big is this chest?
That sounds kinky.
What kind of is there? What else? What's in here?
In the pleasure
Well, we'll
chest?
find out some things, but what else? But it's just
so now here would have been
very
great
odd.
to build a whole episode around like a Meposian pleasure chest and misunderstandings, but they didn't do that.
No, that's not what happens.
That's not what we're still not at. What this episode is about.
No, hold on. We'll get there eventually. Anyways, he's got a pleasure chest, and Larry's like,
tried and true.
3 tried and true Bartolomew's marriage secrets? What are they? And then Balky's like, well, cousin, if I told you they wouldn't be secrets.
Larry goes, I'll buy you ice cream.
And that's all it takes. And Balky just cracks and goes, moon oil is one.
What?
All
As
of a
if
sudden,
Balky can't buy his own ice cream.
No, apparently he can't. And it's not that big of a secret because he tells them exactly what they are. Moon oil, burning ember incense is another. And of course, he says there is the ocean surf cassette tape. Then he goes, good night, cousin, and takes off. And Larry grabs him by the back of the pants again, plops him back down.
And he says, just out of curiosity, where is your pleasure chest?
Oh, well, there's no way he's getting this information out of Balky because Balky's a cousin again. Meposian marriage secret. I can't tell you.
And Larry goes, waffle cone?
And Balky goes behind the garage. It's in the garage behind my cheese wheel. Just cracks again.
So there's something icky, though, about like Balky, like set up as this like in the beginning, having this passionate makeout session with his pregnant wife. And then they've kind of like infantilized him here. Right? So he's like a child,
Now
but he's also really sexy.
Because he just wants ice cream and a waffle cone.
Yeah.
So
weird.
the pleasure chest has been in the garage this whole time.
Behind the cheese wheel.
Jesus, they're adult like magazines and well.
And Balky goes, why do you ask? And Larry's like, oh, no reason. You know, guy talk. And then he goes, oh, hey, look at the time. You better get up to bed, don't you think?
Of course, we know what Larry wants to do is go get the stuff from his pleasure chest.
And Balky's like, oh, I don't know. Now I'm in the mood to talk.
He's like,
and he goes, so anyway, how's everything with you? And Larry's like, Balky, go to bed. Marianne is waiting. Cuddle break, remember? And then he goes, cousin, the woman is wearing me out.
Then you hear Marianne go, Balky.
And then, oh God, I don't even want to say it. He says something that means that I can only hope meant something else back in 1993.
And I can't even Google this to confirm, but Balky says in a southern accent, he hears Marianne go, Balky, and he goes, on the other hand, she sure knows how to toss my salad.
Okay.
And he gets up and he runs up the stairs.
That would not be written.
It doesn't. I'm not sure, and it's a weird line.
It's a weird line. He does it in a southern accent.
I don't know why he does it in the southern accent.
Yeah.
I don't understand a lot of things in this episode.
It. Okay. Anyway, we're still not at the point of the episode, the setup. So anyway,
Balky runs upstairs. Larry runs into the kitchen, presumably to get all the stuff from the place.
From the garage.
Of course.
So then we don't know what happens because then it's the next morning. And Larry, we're back in the kitchen. Larry is like angry, he's angry. He looks angry. He goes to Balky. Balky's scrambling eggs for breakfast. Balky goes, good morning. Would you like a fish head omelet?
Fish head omelet.
And Larry's like, no. Would you like a knuckle sandwich?
And Balky goes, knuckles is more of a lunch thing.
They tend to stay with you.
It's just kind of funny response.
That is really funny.
Yeah.
Larry's like, listen to me. Because of you, Jennifer is miserable this morning. I went into your stupid pleasure chest. I used your stupid Bartakamus marriage secrets, and they didn't work. And Balky's like, what? He grabs him by the tie, pulls him around the counter, and goes, you went into my pleasure chest? And Larry's like, yes. He goes, what did you take? And Larry's like, I took all of it. I took them all. He said the moon oil gave her a rash. She's still sneezing from the incense, and the ocean sounds made her seasick.
Oh, no. It all backfired.
And Balky's like, before I report you to the proper authorities, there's something I think you should know. And he takes Larry by his ear and pulls him to the counter on the other side.
And this is weird. He grabs
across the kitchen
a roll of tape?
This is so weird.
Duct tape? So he grabs a roll of duct tape and he takes out a piece and tears it off, and he goes, moon oil applied directly to the skin usually causes third-degree burns. And at this point, he puts the tape on Larry's forearm and then rips it off real fast. I guess to emphasize the burning of the moon oil.
Yeah, this is really weird.
He goes, you must have found an old bottle. And then Larry's like, the moon oil isn't a body oil? No, the moon oil is not a body oil.
And there was no talking about this tape thing that he did.
Of course, he's going to not know how to use these things. He says,
but I mean this tape thing. They just did it and didn't mention it at all.
I
wonder if it was almost improvised. No?
I don't know. Was he trying to punish Larry for taking the moon oil? So he just does the tape thing. But turns out the moon oil is to use to light a Maposian lamp. It's not even like any kind of body oil. It's lamp oil.
It usually causes third-degree burns. You must have found an old bottle, just a rash.
He says moon oil is to light the Maposian honeymoon lamp. The incense is for outdoor use only, and no one should ever listen to the Ocean Surf cassette tape on a full stomach. Then he's like, in case you haven't noticed, Jennifer has a full stomach.
A very full stomach.
Yeah. And then
Jennifer enters.
Yes.
And she's got like a big oversized t-shirt. Incidentally, it says baby on board.
Baby on board. She's got her arms out in front of her with a coffee mug. Her hair
she's
is
wearing
all crazy.
shorts, and her arms and legs and face, all the exposed skin is covered in like
white cream?
calamine lotion or something for the rash.
White.
Yeah, white cream for the rash. And then her hair's all pulled up in a messy bun, and she's just like walking uncomfortable, like she's covered in rash. Yeah, like skin cream all over. And she pours herself awkwardly a cup of coffee, and that doesn't even say anything to them. And Larry's like, Jen, honey, you feel better? And Jennifer goes, funny, Larry. Until last night, I didn't think anything could make me feel more miserable than being pregnant. I was wrong.
Oh, but you know what? On the one hand, he's got her mind off of her pregnancy.
Yeah, true.
She's not feeling uncomfortable about the pregnancy.
It's like when you're... It's like, let me punch you in the leg. Does your arm still hurt?
Yeah, if you got a toothache, can someone just punch me in the stomach?
Yeah.
So now she's mad about this debacle. And all of this is to get to the actual
Here's
plot of the
the
show,
point.
because Larry just goes, let's get going. This is going to take a major league gift.
Okay, so
There
we're like
is the
at
actual...
the end of Act 1,
Yeah.
and sure, they still managed to get it in Act 1, but it's like, what was all this pleasure chest stuff? Like, they could have easily
the whole pleasure chest thing.
just opened and said, like, oh, Jennifer's really mad at me because I did this stupid thing again. We have to get her a gift. And that was the stakes. Like, boom. But
Then there's a weird joke. Balky goes, may I make a suggestion? He goes, a Louisville slug? And Larry's like, he just, what? And then Balky says, a little garlic on it. Delicious. And then they leave.
Oh,
and
because
fade to
Major
black.
League gift.
Oh, so a Louisville Slugger is a brand of baseball bat, but Balky was talking about an actual slug that you would eat as a gift.
So
is that
it
the
was
connection?
maybe like the Major League.
None of this makes sense.
He misunderstood the Major League
This
pun
could take
and
a
went
Major
for a
League
baseball
gift.
thing. Yeah, it's weird. It's just like poor writing. It's like outsiders writing for Balky and Larry, which is probably what it was.
And that's where Act 1 ends. Listener, you can join this conversation. Join our Facebook group. There's a link in the episode description. All the remaining episodes of Season 8 have been posted. I posted threads there so you can watch now on Plex.tv or Daily Motion for free.
Plex.tv.
Leave your comments for the remaining 4 episodes. And it's lots of fun. You're going to meet lots of fun listeners of the show and fans of Perfect Strangers that also like Only Murders in the Building.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, all of this, Act 2, sister.
Yes.
Where do we start?
In a shopping mall.
All
outside a shopping
all
mall.
of that pleasure chest nonsense.
Get them to the shopping
It's just
mall.
to get them into a department store.
In the second act, not even in the first act.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, what would have been tighter is if because actually the main part of the premise isn't even set up yet into Act 2.
Yeah.
They could have done that early. It should have been in Act
Here's
1.
the thing. I don't think they could have done this earlier because, as you see, they barely had enough material to fill the second half of this.
Yeah,
episode.
true.
There's a lot of just them standing
so let's
around.
see what happens. Larry's still complaining in the department store. He's like, this is a waste of time. We're not going to find a perfect gift for Jennifer in the sports department. So, okay, we're in the sports department of
a department store.
Of a department
Peterman's.
store. Yes, Peterman's. Balky's looking for something special for Marianne. Why? Because it's another anniversary.
Another anniversary? What is it this time?
He said, today is the first anniversary of the first time that Marianne and I got caught in the rain and our hair got all wet and stringy and we used the car heater to dry it and got our heads stuck under the steering wheel.
Oh, wow. And Larry's like, well, that must have been a very special day for you. Another random, specific, odd
and
anniversary.
And then Balky starts telling him more about it, and Larry's like, okay, no. And he's like, I have to find the perfect gift for Jennifer.
And they're walking over to the right, and Balky's like, cousin, you have the perfect gift. We've been shopping all day. That little neck pillow that you got 6 hours ago is the perfect gift. It's what she really wants, Balky tells her. And Larry's like, it's cheap, it's stupid, and it's too small.
Wait a second.
So he's already picked out a
Jennifer
neck pillow.
is a flight attendant.
Correct.
You don't think she has a collection of neck pillows?
That's what she wants. She needs another one. Maybe she went through
Maybe
them
it's
all.
a fancy one. Yeah.
No, I don't think it's a fancy one.
Okay.
So Larry's like, it's too small, and Balky's like, look, cousin, if a gift is given with love, size don't count.
And then Larry goes, believe me, size always counts. Ew, Larry.
Gives him a look. He's like,
Ew.
size always counts. And then you hear the PA go off, and it goes, bing, bong.
Attention shoppers, the store will close in 5 minutes. 5 minutes till closing.
And then Balky's like, cousin, let's go. They're closing the store. Larry's like, no, they're not. Balky's like, but they just said it.
Explaining
He's like, they said it's closing at 5 minutes. And Larry's like, it's just a trick to encourage impulse buying. And then this is a great line and a great observation from Balky.
Mm-hmm.
He says, Balky goes, it amazes me how you can find the ugliest motives in the simplest things.
Yes. Larry is just a know-it-all. He's like, no, they're
That's
not
a great line. And Larry just looks at him and goes, it's what I do best. So he knows that he's annoying and is just kills all the fun everywhere.
And then he wants to go back to the jewelry department, but then both think the jewelry department is in the opposite direction, so they like crash into each other.
So when they've walked over, and in the background there's this mannequin with like scuba thing and arms, and they do this whole bumping into these things, going, "No, jewelry department's over there,
this way, that way, this way, that way."
It's all just so Balky can spin Larry around into the mannequin, and all the legs and arms and
all
heads
the limbs fall off.
So I'm like, what is going on here? Okay, there's a lot of just padding.
Yeah. And so the mannequin falls apart into all these pieces all over the floor. The torso is still like on the stand. And then they both say in unison, well, now you've done it.
And then they both go, what do you mean I've done it? What are you talking about? And then they both do the chuffle
over
thing.
each other.
Like,
well, look, if I was just doing this and this and that, blah, blah, blah. And then they end up simultaneously together saying, well, I can't believe you're going to wriggle out of this again.
I don't know what this is. This is like
is
a
this
Laurel,
like a Laurel and Hardy bit?
I think so.
Maybe.
It sounds like Laurel and Hardy bit, but I was like, this is weird.
Can you Google that last line, wriggle out of this again?
No.
Okay.
But no, I think that Laurel and Hardy do that a lot. I can't, that line, if I Google the line, I'm not going to get it.
Okay. What? Mm-hmm. Well, now you've done it. Yeah. The way they say it is really Laurel and Hardy-ish. And so Larry's like, just help me put this mannequin back together before the security guard sees us. So they start picking up the pieces, and Balky's being childish again. So
more padding and time wasting here.
Yeah, it's really stupid. He picks up a foot and puts it. So first of all, apparently this mannequin's all like held together by magnets.
No, it's magnetic. No,
okay. They all?
I have a thing at work, actually. I shoot like merchandise on a thing called a ghost mannequin.
Okay.
Where you put the clothes on, and the arms and they're all magnetic and they pop off.
Okay.
But you put the thing on the mannequin and you pull the neck part. It's sliced. So you pull the neck part out and you take a photo of it, and it looks like it's just
like
an invisible person wearing the shirt. You don't see any white on the mannequin. It's called a ghost mannequin. And then
wait, how is it invisible?
Because then you cut out the shirt,
right,
and it just looks like an invisible body. You see the inside of the shirt because I pulled the head part up. It's kind of cool.
Cool.
It's fun to play with mannequins sometimes. This one is all magnetic, so if you breathe on it, it just falls apart. And then Bucky picks up a foot and puts it on his neck, right? Yeah. And he goes, "Look, cousin, he got his foot in his mouth," and laughs. Now,
which doesn't even make sense because there's no mouth.
There's no mouth.
It's on the neck.
He's got a foot for a head, is what he has. Yeah. He doesn't have a foot in the mouth. What is happening?
Yeah.
And Larry's like, "Will you stop fooling around?" And then, of course, Bucky bends down, grabs a hand. He goes, "Oh, here, let me give you a hand," and gives him the hand.
Yeah, gives him.
And laughs at that. So there's a lot of.
And Larry's like,
a lot of bad mannequin.
You're not going to help, are you? And Balky hits us with a, well, of course I am. Don't be ridiculous. And so they start, Balky picks up a bunch of the pieces of the mannequin.
We got a little song here.
He gets a little song. I didn't recognize the
that
words.
Song?
I know
bones,
the song.
Them bones and
I didn't know the dem bones part. I just knew the hand bones connected to them. He starts singing like different what he's putting them.
To the shoulder bone.
He's like the hand bones connected to the neck bone. He puts the hand on the neck. The wrist bone's connected to the shoulder bone. He puts the wrist on the shoulder. Foot bone's connected to the thigh bone. He puts the foot like right in the where the thigh goes.
It's funny, I guess. And then you hear the PA go, "Bing bong! Thank you for shopping at Peterman's. The store is now closed." And Buggy's like, "Cousin, I think they're serious about this closing the store thing."
And Larry is still knowing it, very confident.
Yes, he's a know-it-all.
And he's like, "Balky, I am a gold card holder. No store is going to close while a gold card holder is still shopping." He thinks very highly of his gold card. He goes, "Just help me find the head. It must have rolled somewhere." And they both get down on the ground, right? And they're on their hands and knees looking for this mannequin head. And conveniently, when they're down on the ground, they happen to be like behind this counter thing.
Yeah.
So in the foreground, they're on their hands and knees behind this counter. In the background, we see a security guard walk past. And of course, he doesn't see them at all because they're on their hands and knees behind a counter. And he goes to the front door just as another customer is leaving, and he lets the guy out. And then he goes outside, and then he locks the door behind him.
This
Lights
guy,
are all still
what's this
on.
guy's job? He's not very good at it.
Just
He
lock
doesn't.
up.
There's no alarm system.
There's no
He
alarm.
didn't turn
the
the lights
are all on.
He didn't
There's
bother
no
checking,
inventory.
like
check.
flashlight around. Like,
Yeah.
is anybody here? Hello?
Yeah,
No.
maybe he checked.
He's like, I gotta pick up dinner and I need to get home
and
to
so
my
he
wife.
just leaves.
He's out.
Okay,
Yeah.
and he
And then
locks the door
yes.
behind them.
So they're crawling around looking for the head, and then you see Balky crawl up to Larry, and he's got the head with the scuba gear, and it's in his collar of his shirt next to his head,
Yeah.
and he's snarling and like making monster noises, and he's like, "Look, cousin, it's the incredible two-headed meepiat." And then Larry just goes, "Balky, you idiot."
And he goes, "Give me that." And he grabs the head. Only it's Balky's
He reaches
head.
for
He's
Balky's head.
grabbing
He got
and tries
confused?
to pull it off his neck. He's like, "Oh wait,
Oh.
that's the wrong head," which is so silly because
How did he get
it
confused?
wasn't even funny. That
Yeah.
was just dumb. So then he's like, "Oh, that's not the head. I want the other head." So he takes the mannequin head, and they stand up.
They put it back on, right?
Yeah.
And Balky looks around and he's like, "Cousin, you notice anything strange?" And then Larry goes, "Other than the fact I'm torn between two dummies
And because he's standing
standing
between
between
the
the
dummy
dummy
and
and Balky.
Balky.
feeling like a fool."
Yeah.
Apparently, that's a line from a song.
Yeah, because torn doesn't make sense in this scene.
The song is
I
called
was
"Torn Between Two Lovers" by
Okay.
Mary McGregor from
Does it
1976.
say "feeling like a fool"? in
Yes,
it?
that's the
Okay.
line. Never heard the song.
Never heard it.
But it's
Okay.
a song. And Balky's like, "Cousin, it's awfully quiet in here. You know what I think?" And they walk towards the doors. They're looking around. Balky's like, "I think everybody gone home." And then he sees the cash register is covered. When did they do that? I didn't even see that.
Yeah, I don't know.
He goes, "Cousin, they closed the store." Kind of like, "Cousin, the guard locked the window." And Larry's just like, "Impossible." And he walks behind him to the door. This is kind of funny. He stands there, and then you just see him frantically jiggle the door. He's like, jiggle, 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 jiggle. Then he stops, turns around, walks back, and goes, "Balky, they closed the store."
Balky goes, "You stupid little nincompoopolos."
That is a great Mimposian
Nincompoopolos.
insult. Why haven't we heard that before? Nincompoopolos is fantastic.
That might be the best written word in this whole.
Nincompoopolos. And now they're arguing, and Larry's like, "Oh, I'm the one to blame suddenly." And Balky's like, "You are always the one to blame the whole time." And then they're like, "Look, let's figure out a way to get out of here." They walk to the middle of the store, and Balky goes, "Don't worry, cousin, I have a plan." Balky says, "I have a
Larry's
plan."
like, "You have a plan." Balky's like, "It's a good one." And Larry's like, "No, no, no, no,
Yeah,
no,
Larry's
no.
not having this.
I make the plan and you follow." And he points to himself. He goes, "Engine," and he points to Balky. He goes, "Caboose." Engine, caboose. You got it? And Balky's like, "Yep, no one blows hot air like you do." And he laughs at his own joke. And so here's Larry's plan. He's just going to use the phone to call for help.
Yeah,
Very
that's
sensible
smart,
because we
actually.
see a
Yes.
phone there.
And you're
next
like,
to the
just use the
register.
phone. Call somebody.
Call somebody.
Yeah, they'll let you out.
And he starts to walk toward the phone, but then they hear a dog barking.
There's a dog barking. Oh, boy. And Balky's like, "Cousin, did
And
you hear
Larry
something?"
stops in his tracks.
Yeah, Larry goes, "Yes, I heard something." And he goes, "Must have been a recording. There's probably a motion detector and a speaker around here." And Larry's facing Balky, and Balky's facing stage left. And as he says that, this kind of big dog, appears to be a Rottweiler, was just in the back this whole time, comes out and sits down and holds this growl face.
Oof.
This dog works here.
Grr.
This dog
Okay,
must be the
So
security,
security guard, but just in the sports department of the.
Well, maybe
department
that's where
store.
his little doghouse is in the back,
Yeah, maybe.
near the entrance.
There's not like in the main part of the mall. He's like in this particular.
Also, what's
store.
the dog supposed to do? How's he going to alert someone? Is there nobody else working
Yeah, but
here?
like, okay, presumably the dog barks to alert a security guard. So why didn't that happen? That would actually be good
the
for
dog
them.
is there to eat and
Then
kill
the,
the
then the
intruder.
security guard would know that they're stuck in there, and they would come. And
No, they're going to come in the next morning, and if there's a body there that's been chewed up,
Okay.
that's what happened.
That's what happened. The dog is just to protect the cash register. or
The
something.
dog is the guard. The dog works there.
Yeah, but like, what is the dog's purpose and goal? Okay. We don't know. We don't know. Okay.
So Balky has seen the dog. Larry has not, and he's like, all the big stores, they got these high-tech alarm systems. And then Balky goes, "Cousin, it's a dog." And Larry goes, of course it's a dog.
It's a recording of a dog.
It's a recording of a dog. And he goes, not a very good one, I might add. And the dog growls again. And this dog is holding this like crazy, like snarly face, and it's drooling. It's pretty good. I don't know how they got the dog to do that. And Balky goes, no, cousin, it's a big, scary dog. And now Larry is just totally going to talk to him like he's a child.
He's like, no, I know you're scared. He says to Balky, he says, it's your first time locked in a store, but cousin Larry is here, and I'm not going to let anything happen to you, okay? Feel better, huh? Feel better? And then Balky grabs the back of Larry's head and turns it toward the dog. And Larry's like, oh. And the dog's still growling. He's like, why didn't you tell me? And Balky's like, I tried to tell you, but you were too busy making me feel better, feel better.
The dog barks during his line, too.
I don't. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he says, I don't feel better. But during this delivery, like, I think that it wasn't supposed to bark.
Okay, 2 thoughts. This would have been a good time for Larry, before he saw the dog, to be like, Balky, how many times have you been locked in a store? How many times in America?
Yeah,
And,
how many?
And then the other thing is, like, we're to believe that they're both, like, deathly afraid of this growling dog. Balky is, like, has so much experience with animals and wild animals and dog. Like, he's the animal.
To be fair, though, this is a Rottweiler and it's showing aggression.
Yes, it is.
That's not good. That's not good. This is its job.
Okay.
And they're like they're frozen in fear, and Larry's like, okay, Balky, we need a plan. This is what we're gonna do. We're going to back up very slowly. And they both slowly take one step back, and the dog barks, and they jump back where they are. And then the emotions, Balky is like, go right. They take one step to the right. The dog barks, and they step back. And Balky's like, cousin, I think he wants us to stand still. Yes, that's what he wants.
And Larry's like, okay. He's like, we need a plan. Balky's like, okay, let's think.
That's kind of funny.
And then Larry's like, I got it. Listen, I got it. You let the dog chase you around the store while I make the phone call. On 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. And Balky doesn't go anywhere. He's just staring at him.
1, 2, 3, go.
Go.
Okay, go. 1, 2, 3, go.
Okay, go now. Okay, now go.
It's like, go. 1, 2, 3, go.
And Balky
1, 2, 3, go.
Stares at him and stays still, though. He's like, what else you got?
And then the dog gets up and starts walking towards them. This is bad. So then they back up, and they get backed up to a counter, and there's a little basket there
like,
with tennis balls, luckily.
So Balky hands Larry a tennis ball. Larry tosses. He's like, good dog, go catch the ball. The dog just lets the ball go, doesn't even pay attention. And they do this a couple times. Then they're out of balls, and Balky hands him like the little tray that the balls were on, plastic bin. And Larry throws that at the dog. He's like, no, it's not doing anything. He's like, fetch. Here you go, doggy, fetch. Dog's not happening. Not happening.
Larry's like, Balky, what kind of doggy doesn't fetch? And Balky goes, a dog that would rather kill. And now they're backed up, and Balky's like, cousin, if we don't make it out of here, tell Marianne that I stashed some extra cash behind the nutmeg in the kitchen and that I love her very much. And he's like, why am I telling you this? You'll be dead too. And then
Larry's like, Balky,
he confesses.
I know about your nutmeg stash. And if we do get out of here alive, I'm going to give you back the $300 I stole. What?
Balky's like, you stole my nutmeg nest egg.
Oh,
can't even say it. What? Larry's just a kleptomaniac now? He's just
Larry's
stealing?
just become a bad person.
He took his stuff from the pleasure chest and stole his nutmeg nest egg
of $300.
$300. And then,
like, how could you do that? And he starts strangling him.
Balky starts choking Larry.
And then the dog reminds them that he's still there.
I'm here.
The dog's
Remember
still
the
there.
situation? This is the situation.
And the dog starts chasing them, and they all like run around this store.
There's a little trampoline there also that they kind of hop over. They're running around the counters.
They're running around the store, and
they run around one counter, and they run around the other counter.
Them. And then we fade out.
It's a well-trained dog. And then he jumps up on the counter.
Well, it's like an actor dog.
Yeah, it's very good. He traps with Larry behind. And then we don't find out what happens because it resolves.
We cut to the next morning.
The next morning, exterior shot of the house.
And inside is only the girls.
You know what I forget to mention about the girls? Somehow Jennifer looks less pregnant than she did last episode.
She does in some
scenes.
In the beginning scene, she definitely did.
I was like,
it might have been the dress.
I was like, you look less pregnant than you did last time.
They are wearing looser clothes, which makes more sense rather than those ridiculous overall shorts, denim overall shorts.
But now it's the next morning and the girls are up.
But she looks more pregnant in this scene, right?
Yeah,
here.
in this scene, they're wearing different things and her belly's a little bigger.
Yeah,
but
they're like in their bathrobes this morning.
But I was like,
Jennifer's
why-
like, oh, you don't think, I don't know what happened to their pregnancies. Jennifer's like, what would they be doing all night without calling us? Where were they? And so they're like, we've established that they haven't come home yet, and it's morning. And Marianne says, maybe they wanted to earn some extra money for our baby's college education, so they took second jobs and forgot to tell us.
Jennifer's like, or maybe they're lying in a ditch somewhere.
And Marianne's like, see, that's the difference between us. You see the glass and you say it's half empty, whereas I see the glass and I say it's empty halfway. Which is actually, that is so funny to me. That's a very well written line.
It's empty halfway.
I love that kind of wordplay. So funny.
I think that's the best line of this episode.
Yeah, I've never heard that before. It's so funny.
So then Larry and Balky do enter. The door opens and you can see clearly their clothes are all ripped and they're disheveled.
Yeah.
And Balky's missing a pant leg.
Larry's like missing a sleeve.
Larry's sleeve is torn in funny places. And they also have gifts in their hand.
Yes.
So
they come in all tattered and they give him a simultaneous hi.
And they're like, what happened to you? Where have you been?
We've been worried sick.
Yeah. And Larry goes and they go into their respective mates. And Larry's like, well, we accidentally got locked in Peterman's department store with a mad dog. And Jennifer looks at him and goes, Larry, I promise I won't be angry. Where have you really been? Because that does sound made up.
Yes. And Balky backs him up. He says, no, we really were being chased all night by a dog. But the worst part was they locked the bathrooms.
They locked the bathrooms.
Don't you think he'd be running into the or maybe they went in the morning.
Did Balky just like pee in a helmet or something?
Probably.
What happened? He had to find something.
And Marianne's mad at Balky. She said, you missed a very special anniversary. Balky's like, no, I didn't, my little lampshake. And he pulls out from his bag a wrapped gift and hands it to her. And she goes, oh, you remembered the first time we got caught in the rain and our hair got all wet and stringy and we used the car heater to dry it and got our heads caught under the steering wheel anniversary.
It's a long anniversary.
And then she looks at him and says, I have your present upstairs. Cuddle break. And they both run up the stairs.
Then we're left with Jennifer and Larry just looks at Jennifer and goes, "Honey, for your thoughts." I don't know. People say that?
Yeah, I don't know. And Jennifer just they didn't even need to have him say that at all.
No,
they could have
because
just
Jennifer goes, "How did you get locked in Peterman's department store?" That's all she needs to ask him. Like, Larry,
Penny for
what
your thoughts
happened?
is such an extra thing.
And then we hear some lesson time music as Larry explains his inner emotions.
Mm-hmm. He says, I was just trying to find the perfect gift for you to save our marriage, and we got locked in. Jennifer says, Larry, our marriage doesn't need saving. And why did you think it would? And Larry admits that he thinks Jennifer doesn't seem to be interested in him lately. He says, Balky and Marianne are always taking cuddle breaks and you don't want to touch me. And Jennifer counter admits, she apologizes and says, I'm sorry, but these days I don't feel very attractive. And he tells her, you've never been more attractive. And that's all. She turns her around. She believes him right away. She goes, really? And he says, yes.
You mean it?
You mean it? Larry says, yes, I mean it. And she goes, oh, Larry, I love you.
That's all it
and
took.
they kiss. That's it. Resolution.
Yeah.
And they start, this is really weird too. They start kissing and then Larry pulls back. He's like, ow, ow, ow. The dog nicked my lip.
Hey, what happened? Did he get bit in the mouth?
Can't kiss her
Did he get
because
attacked
the dog.
in the mouth?
Maybe it
Also,
jumped up
was
at
there
him.
any criminal charges? Did they get arrested in the morning? How long? When they were like, we were in there
No,
all
it was
night and they
an
locked the bathroom.
accident. Yeah.
I was, in my head, I was like, oh my God, did they just stand on a counter to avoid the dog?
Yeah,
Like,
how
what did
did
they
they
do all
get
night?
away from
did they
the
not,
dog?
the guy came in the next
The
morning
dog
and
got tired and
did they get in trouble?
fell asleep. We don't know. Nothing.
Couldn't they find some beef jerky and just fed the dog? It's a department store.
Oh yeah,
That's
it's
what
the
you do.
sports section.
Yeah.
In the hiking section.
But Larry has a present for Jennifer in his hands. And he goes, it's small and cheap, but it's the only thing I can find. And he gives it to her. And she's like, I love surprises. And before she can open it, he just goes, it's a neck pillow.
Oh.
And she pulls it out, and it's like an uninflated flat neck pillow.
Yeah, the
he
kind
goes,
that you blow up.
Yeah, he goes, when my lip heals, I'll blow it up for you. She loves it.
She is so weird. And then she loves it and she swoons. And then she looks at him and goes, cuddle break. And they hug and kiss and roll credits.
Now, you know what they're doing this season. We have some extra under credits. Let's call it under credits. The under credit scene is more of the cousins being chased by the dog
around the store.
There's a cute part where Balky's on a trampoline and he's bouncing and he's saying something about growing up on a farm or whatever.
No, because Larry's like being chased and Balky's bouncing on the trampoline, and Larry says, Balky, how come he isn't chasing you?
He's like,
and he goes, I don't know, cousin. I grew up on a farm. I have a way with animals.
He does mention
That's what I was saying.
And then the dog starts chasing Balky and Larry both. And then there's another funny thing where when you circle back to the one middle of the store, you see Larry standing there with a tennis racket like a mannequin. He's just standing there frozen. And the dog, I think he's chasing Balky.
So he doesn't have a way with animals. I don't know. This whole episode was confusing. No, it didn't make sense.
And that's the actual end of the episode. Roll credits.
Okay, hold on. But let's talk about why they would have written this. What was the point supposed to be that, like, Jennifer, like, pregnancy makes a woman feel gross and then she makes a man feel unwanted, and then then the man tells her she's beautiful and she's like, okay, let's go upstairs now. What is the point of this?
The message is pregnant women are beautiful.
Pregnant women are beautiful. Larry's really horny. I don't know what.
We've established that.
Yeah. And they got stuck in a store. I don't get it.
No, the whole thing is just... It's not good.
It feels like silly. The writers before just, it feels like they actually did cancel the show. And then later they were like, oh, let's do 6 more. But the writers had already moved on to other jobs. And then they gathered, tried to, I don't know.
It's the same writers.
Oh, is it? Why is it so different? Okay.
Oh, I don't know. This one was written by Barry O'Brien and Cheryl Alou.
Yeah, see? Those aren't the same.
That's some new writers. And these writers had never watched Perfect Strangers before.
That's what it feels like, too. They didn't know the characters at all. They're just
the whole thing is pointless and padded out and takes a while for them to get to any... I don't.
Okay, tell me about the security guard.
Oh, that dude, Ken Kerman, played the security guard, and he was the voice of the store announcer. So this Peterman store is very cheap. Not only can they not hire someone to stay in the store, they got the security guard making the announcements. And he probably gets paid less than minimum wage, which is why he just left and didn't bother checking. He's like, I hate this job. I'm not turning on the alarm. I'm not turning off I'm just going to leave. I don't care if anybody's in here. But Ken Kerman also was on Hunter, Newhart, Family Matters, Dallas, Parker Lewis, Can't Lose, Step by Step, Full House, Baywatch, Murder, She Wrote, Seinfeld, Melrose Place, Seventh Heaven, The Practice, LA Heat, CSI Miami, and Medium. Remember Medium? Lots of shows this guy was on.
So interesting. The name of the department store here, now that you mentioned Seinfeld, reminded me of J. Peterman's catalog from Seinfeld. But that was like a ritzy thing. It wouldn't have been like your ordinary department store.
Yeah,
so I don't know if there was a tie, but it made me wonder, was Seinfeld already on the air by then?
In 93, I think Seinfeld just started in 93.
Oh, okay. So it's not Peter.
You know what I learned on a podcast today? Seinfeld, Friends, and Mad About You all in the same universe. Did you know this?
I think I knew about Mad About You.
Phoebe's twin sister, Ursula. Remember Ursula?
Was on Mad About You.
Was the waitress on Mad About You.
Yeah, that I knew.
Kramer apparently lives in the apartment Paul Reiser lived in and rented it. He rented it from Paul Reiser's character, I think. It's the same apartment.
The same character from Mad About You?
Yes. In the Mad About You lived in Kramer's...
Seinfeld's building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that connects all 3 shows.
So he rented it from Paul. Where did Paul Reiser go?
Oh, they moved. Remember, maybe after the end of the show, then they move out of New York.
Where's Friends?
Ursula.
Ursula.
From Friends. Phoebe. Lisa Kudrow playing both parts. So there's Friends Mad About You connection and Kramer Mad About You connection, and then they're all in the same universe.
Okay.
They're all in the same universe.
Interesting.
It's all New York shows.
Yeah. One was okay.
Anyways, get Dance of Joy merch at our TeePublic shop. Visit danceofjoypod.com/shop.
You can be part of our universe.
Yes, get part of our shared universe. Get yourself a t-shirt or a hoodie or a coffee mug. It's a great way to support the show.
Yes.
And to keep up your support.
I like to wear the hoodie to the grocery store and advertise while I'm shopping.
That's a good idea. The hoodie looks good
wear it to Costco. There's always a lot of people in Costco.
And, the person behind you, in front of you, is going to be staring at it, and maybe they'll remember.
Like, what is that? We should put a QR code on it.
I was just going to say that. That'd be funny. Anyways, do we want to go over our thoughts some more? Before? I think we've been over our thoughts.
I was very confused.
What a pointless, silly episode. What is the point?
What it added to our world or our insights about
There's a lot of weird, random things.
Like we know Balky and Marianne are having a hot little time, and Larry and Jennifer now are going to, I guess. But like it didn't tell us anything. It didn't move us along the pregnancies or anything like that. It didn't. I don't know.
Didn't they go
to
the theater?
A lot of things don't make sense.
Didn't they go see a movie and make out after last episode?
Yeah, exactly.
We've already established all this.
Yeah. How come he's feeling that way again?
Because they can't think of anything else, and they were just like, the show needs
other conflicts between these
What do the listeners think?
All right, let's find out.
Oh, before we get to the comments of this episode, remember you asked Barb Weatherby about her Commonwealth status? Well, we got an I got an email to danceofjoypod@gmail.com. Subject, My Commonwealth status.
Yay, Barb Weatherby.
Barb Weatherby, that was literally the best email I read all week.
Barb Weatherby writes, Hi, Sophia and Imran. I just listened to your recent episode today, and as always, I'm loving it! ! You noticed my use of the letter U in words like humor. I must confess, I am a poutine, donair, and ketchup chip eating, maple syrup chugging, hockey watching, Tim Horton coffee drinking, lacrosse cheering, maple leaf flag waving Canadian, eh?
Ah, you're right. Oh, she's Canadian.
I live in the beautiful province of Nova Scotia.
Oh, wow.
If you've never been, you should come see it for yourself. Just don't come in the winter. Barb Weatherby. She signed it Barb Weatherby, one word. That's love fantastic. It.
Listen, we all know Canadians, nicest people ever.
Yes, I will take you up. I would love to come and see Nova
I have a lot
Scotia.
of Canadian listeners to my other podcast and in our Facebook group, and they're just like the nicest, coolest people.
I have a lot of Canadian friends over the years, and they've always been the best people. Yeah.
All right, let's get to...
Thank you, Barb Weatherby. We're coming to Nova Scotia.
Are we?
Someday.
Book some tickets.
Someday. Regarding the episode, we have some comments from our listeners. First up, we have listener cousin Jason Karinko, who writes, This one had some good moments, but it's still coming off as stuff we've seen before. I did laugh when Larry asked for the salt, which was right in front of him, only to salt one sad piece of cauliflower and not even eat it. Then in Peterman's department store, Mark and Bronson do a pretty great Laurel and Hardy bit that was way better than the Laurel and Hardy episode. Maybe because they did it once and moved on. But on the downside, Larry is misusing Meposian secrets so soon after misusing the Midol Crampablotilus root last
Larry
week.
just does not learn.
That is so true.
Yeah, I'm just going to take all your things.
Balky is playing dumb again, not realizing that Larry would use the items in the Meposian marriage secrets chest once Balky told Larry where it was. These are all questions he's asking, like, how do we believe this? Larry is butthurt that Jennifer doesn't show him affection anymore. How about she never did? And finally, the one thing Jennifer wanted was a neck pillow? Really? You're going to tell me there isn't a neck pillow in a house inhabited by 2 flight attendants? That's what I said. Don't make me laugh. Ha! Ha!
Don't make me laugh. Yeah, none of this stuff makes sense.
Okay. Very, very true, cousin Jason. Thank you. Next up, we have listener cousin Pam Hitchcock, who writes, Now that Balky and Marianne are married, are they renting one room or paying for both? Good question. Either way, they should use one instead. They should use one instead of the kitchen, as in use a room. Yes.
You got 2 rooms up there. What are you doing making out at dinner time?
She writes, it's just like Larry to go off half-crocked and do something he knows nothing about.
Of course.
A neck pillow? How about a pregnancy pillow? Yes, they were a thing back then. And that could have been a funny thing, too. Like, the boys bring home these pregnancy pillows and, like, try them out before before they wrap them.
Oh, you could have had a lot of fun with pregnant guys trying pregnancy things.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That would have been really funny.
That would have been funny.
We should have written these episodes. Yeah. She writes, does Larry have to get Jen presents every time he displeases her? Still needy Larry, although he has her. Like he's still needy. But does he really? Quite the dysfunctional relationship they have going on. Hey, the Swanky Chops restaurant is in the mall.
Yeah, there's one shot. You see a Benetton store, and then you see it says Chops reflected. And there was the restaurant's called Chops, so I don't know what it's doing in the mall.
Where did we see the Chops restaurant?
Well,
it was in the show before?
The Chops, it was that fancy restaurant they went to like last season.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, or that was the Chop House or whatever. That's a real place.
Well, it's in the mall.
But now they opened a place there's a kiosk in the mall, I guess. I didn't see any T-Mobile kiosks in this mall.
T-Mobile was.
That's what you get in malls today. You ever been in one? It's nothing but cell phone stores.
Yeah.
That's it. And then like empty storefronts.
Some bad ice cream.
Yeah. They're very weird malls.
Yeah,
they're scary.
They're eerie now.
Yeah.
Okay. Back to Cousin Pam. She writes, I enjoyed the physical comedy and silliness, and it was nice to hear Balky sing again. But didn't the cousins seem pretty mean-spirited this episode?
Yeah, a little bit.
It was a harmless enough episode with nearly half devoted to physical comedy, so I'll put it in the Bibi Babka category and give it a 6.5. Very generous. I know that surprises even me. I'm just thrilled it wasn't a total bomb and they got out of the house, which must be a murder house they can't escape. Okay, thank you, cousin Pam.
Some people really like this episode. I found it just as pointless as the last episode.
I didn't really like it at all, yeah. Next up, we have cousin Nicole Stoner. Although I will say my favorite line was the Marianne line about
halfway.
Empty halfway.
Well, I say it's empty halfway.
Next up, we have listener cousin Nicole Stoner, who writes, if you're keeping score at home, this is the third time Larry's bought a gift for Jennifer after some kind of argument or falling out.
Yeah.
Past episodes where I saw this on TV with the teddy bear and Chicago Sweet with the large bouquet of flowers. It's another repeating storyline to some extent, and I don't know how I feel about it. You feel not good about it. She writes, and it's another cousin stuck somewhere episode like Climb Every Billboard or the Ruined Vacation episodes. It's not necessarily a bad setup in taking a look at how different the couples are in their marriages, but this promising setup falls flat. Okay.
I like Cousin Stuck Somewhere episodes, and those that you mentioned are way better.
Yeah.
This one is just like
this lacking one is so forced. And like so many unanswered questions.
Yeah. But Cousin Stuck Somewhere is a great premise. The Billboard episode is great. I still like that one.
I applaud Balky being the slightly more level-headed one in this episode as it reminds me of early season episodes, but it also looks very out of place for him to be more hostile to Larry here. Yeah.
It's all confusing.
It's all weird. Okay, next up we have Barb Weatherby, who writes, I think I have to agree with most of the things that people are saying here. That old worn-out trope about man screws up and has to buy a woman a gift has been around for a long time, and we still see it in sitcoms today. If you recall, in the Honeymooners episode, which is one of my very favorites, thanks to Bronson's amazing performance, they were even talking about it then, so it goes back way before them into the 50s.
Oh, yeah, Ralph Cramden was always trying to buy stuff to make up for things he did.
Yeah. While there was some good physical comedy in this, it seemed like it was just Bronson and Mark making stuff up as they went along. Not that hasn't worked in the past, but it's just not working for me here. It feels like they just want to get things over with. I must say my favorite part of the physical comedy was where Balky was running around being chased by the dog and Larry was standing still like a mannequin. That was very funny. I think it's over the end credits, and I actually missed it when it's the under credits. Finally, Balky speaks one of my favorite Meposian words, nincompooplos.
That's a great word.
That did make me giggle. I wish I had found this group earlier when the shows were better. You can go back and listen to us and still write us. I am catching up, though. I'm on season 3 episodes of the podcast and loving it. Yay, you are catching up. Thank you, Barb Weatherby. Next up, we have listener cousin Whitney Smith, who writes, if you want to torture someone, have them watch episodes from season 8, because this is pure
I just imagine strapping someone to a chair and propping their eyeballs open.
Oh, yeah, with toothpicks.
Like in the
cartoons.
In Clockwork Orange. And then you just play season 8 and they're just screaming.
And they're like, no.
I'll tell you anything you want to know. Turn it off.
But how did they get out of the store?
We'll never know.
What did they do all night with the dog?
What did the dog do? Why won't you fill me into these questions?
Why does she want a neck pillow?
Don't they have neck pillows? They're flight attendants.
Okay.
Why does he have a pleasure chest? What else is in it?
Why didn't Larry learn from the My Doll Crample Blowdolus room?
Why does Larry still doesn't know how to do things?
Why is Jennifer less pregnant?
Yes, why is Jennifer less pregnant than Oh, God, somebody turn it off. I confess, I did it. I killed him. I stole everything.
Oh, my God.
Just turn it off.
So funny.
I'll do whatever you want.
We should write that sketch where someone gets interrogated.
It's like an FBI interrogation room.
Forcing a confession.
They're like, listen, you could tell us, or you could sit here and watch Perfect Stranger Season 8. The guy's like, no! At least Season 6. No, we're going to start with Season 8.
Yes. They're like, I'll tell you where Bin Laden is.
I stole the Lindbergh baby. It was me. Just turn it off.
Okay. Back to...
Anyways, Whitney Smith didn't like it, of course.
But Cousin Whitney, you just gave us an excellent idea for a sketch or something. I might write that. Okay. She writes, these episodes are just ridiculous and desperately trying too hard. Larry and Jennifer are still acting like they are newlyweds or still dating because he seems to know nothing about her and she's still high maintenance as ever. They seemed better when they were dating. I never did like Balky and Marianne's relationship, and it seems like now that they're married, I really dislike them. Something seemed very off about this episode. Like Cousin Pam said, the cousins did seem mean-spirited, or this was their first time working together. The chemistry just didn't seem right. For some reason, I remembered this episode going a different way. I remembered them being locked in a store, but I don't remember the dog. When they were locked in the store and said someone locked the door, it took me back to season 3 episode where they were on the ledge and said the guard locked the window.
Way better. Much better.
A lot of the cousins semi-liked this episode, but again, I didn't. 2 for 0.
Oh, maybe she meant 0 for 2.
0 for 2.
0 for 2 in terms of this season.
This season, yeah.
Bad season 8.
Yes.
Don't be ridiculous was said one time.
Of course I have. Don't be ridiculous.
Man, I don't think we're going to see actual Dimitri just get his photo on the mantle.
Maybe we have 4
Listen,
more.
at least put him in the last episode or the final
please.
2-parter. Come on. I can hope. That's the only reason to still watch is to see if Dimitri shows up.
I don't think we even have to discuss much Perfect Strangers today.
I think this whole season should just be deleted. That's the problem.
But just for the sake of technicality, Perfect Strangers today is, of course, the segment of this podcast where we discuss could this episode be made today? Would it still hold up? But no, we all have phones now. You can't get locked in a store. You could just call somebody unless your phone is dead or something and there's no outlets and chargers anywhere around. And there's an alarm. There wouldn't be a
there'd be
dog.
Motion
there wouldn't
detectors
be like
and the lights would be off. They used to use dogs, but not just by themselves.
Really, what would happen is they'd set off some alarm and the cops would come and they'd be like, "Oh, I got locked in," and then they would get questioned a little bit, and then. But you know what would be a funnier episode? If they did set off an alarm, the cops came, and then the cops thought they were up to no good for some reason, like some weird misunderstanding. It looked like evidence that they were robbing the store or something, and it was some confusion about that. That would be kind of funny.
And they gotta hide like mannequins and pretend they're mannequins.
Oh, yeah.
Cops are finding them or something stupid. I will confess, I've always wanted to be locked in a Target or something, or a super Target. It'd be kind of fun.
Yeah.
But there's people there the whole time, and the security guards, and I just don't redo any episode.
I'm surprised they didn't do Locked in a Museum. That's like a trope. There's whole movies about that.
Well, yeah, no, and they've done locked in store movies. Was that Career Opportunities was one?
Okay.
I'm trying to think. There's a couple. So I don't know.
No.
It wouldn't really.
You'd have to significantly rewrite it. It's not it wouldn't be doable as it is.
But you need an actual.
Why is there a dog there?
They used to use dogs as junkyards had dogs as security animals. The security guards that.
to scare people away, but
Yeah.
he's inside the store, also locked in the store.
Yeah, the dog's just going to hold him down or something.
I don't know. Okay.
They're trained to take down and hold. But then how's the dog going to tell anybody
right,
what's
and
happening?
There's no like
That
alarm,
made no sense.
And why couldn't they just like they were running from this dog the whole night and they couldn't get to the phone at any point?
Yeah, apparently not.
To call somebody, which was the original idea that he forgot about very quickly. Or maybe they did, and that's how they got out. Who knows? Okay. Anyway,
we'll
let's
never
skip
know.
PS today and give it a low score.
Yeah, don't do any of these
Don't do
episodes.
this.
That's this week's episode. Next week, something about ants and Balky killing things with a touch. I don't.
Okay, well,
sounds just as silly. I hope one of these is
when
a
are these
gem.
babies coming?
Oh, I believe they're coming very soon. Couple episodes. Last two. So, yeah, we still have 4 more episodes, listener. So, there's still time to support this show if you're listening.
Yes.
Another way to support the show, there's a button on our website that says buy us a coffee. It's like a virtual tip jar. We appreciate any support. Goes back into the show costs, and we appreciate everyone's support. But, yeah, it's there.
And there is still time because we have 4 episodes left. It's going to take us a little bit. There is still time to come and visit us digitally in all the places. You can start with our website, danceofjoypod.com. And from there, you can click around and go to all the places where this podcast streams. And you can leave us some likes and some subscribes and some ratings and some reviews. All of that stuff helps us finish this and keep going till the end. You can also send us a voice message from the website. Tell us if you've ever been locked in a store. Tell us what you thought of this episode and explain some of the things we didn't understand if you understand them. But mostly, have you ever been locked in the sports department of Peterman's department store? You could also send us your stories by email at danceofjoypod@gmail.com. We would love to hear from everyone, and we'll shout you out on the show. And you can also just come and say hi on any of our social media accounts. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Dance of Joy Pod. But Imran, what is the most important thing our listeners should do?
Oh, always carry hot dogs in your pocket.
Of course.
That way,
little salami.
Yeah, any kind of meat, beef jerky, but hot dogs. Just loose hot dogs in your pocket. Don't even put them in a bag because you never know when you're going to get approached by a dog.
Now that sounds like a Maposian thing. Like
cousin, that's why Mama always told me carry hot dogs in my bag.
Exactly.
You never know when you're going to get up against the security dog. No, the real thing is to share this show and tell them that early seasons of Perfect Strangers are hilarious and you should listen to this podcast. Listen to us talk about those episodes. Not these last episodes. But also, it's kind of fun talking about these bad episodes.
Yes.
But yeah, spread it around. Word of mouth is the best way. We would appreciate it.
That's our show for today. Now we are so happy.
Now we are so happy. We do the dance of joy.
Hey, 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 hey.